forgot the onions. The only thing I would love to add, that's the timer, that I won't, is raisins. And that's because the mister does not like raisins. Not only does the Brussels sprouts look great, it tastes amazing. Hey friend, welcome back to Safe at Homestead. If you're new here, my name is Elena and I'm excited to have you here with me today. So we have reached the end of the Pantry Challenge for January, and actually it's the end for me as well. Let me explain why. So if you have been with me for a little bit, you know that we are new to this area, to this home, to this land. We were living on in an RV, and we were homesteading, or mini-steading as I like to call it, on 1,600 square feet. And we had the wonderful opportunity to upgrade to about an acre here in this area. And so we are literally starting from scratch. The only thing that was on this property besides the home was an old shed. And since we've been here, we have managed to put in a new chicken run and move our old chicken coop over here. We have also built a wood shed to store our wood, and that is about it. We did also put up another little structure for housing some wood. By wood, I mean the wood that we use to heat our home. Besides that, we have done nothing else. Spring is around the corner. I need a garden. And I think I bit off more than I could chew when I said that I would do the Pantry Challenge for 2 months. It was enjoyable doing it in January, even though I had some issues like being unwell and then getting my husband's cold and then losing my voice, all of that. I still enjoyed doing the Pantry Challenge, but to be realistic, I have to buckle down and think about what I want to do, not just for the garden, but for other structures, other infrastructure that we need here on the homestead, storage, just all the things. And so doing that and trying to do the Pantry Challenge this month is a little bit too much, especially since most of the time that we will spend working on it is weekend time. So a few hours on Saturday and a few hours on Sunday. The mister does do an hour or so every time he gets home during the week, but he's trying to finish that shed, like I showed you before, putting walls in the shed. So I would like to see him finish that, give him the time to do that. When we first started working here, the days were longer, and so we had more time. We don't now. The days are getting longer, but they're not that long right now. So we have very little time to do things when it comes to him coming home from work and working outside. So we need to get our we need to decide for sure where the garden is going. I think I've decided that. It took a long time for me to come up with a definite place that I wanted. When we first got here, we started clearing out some area and we thought, oh, this is where the garden's gonna go. But as I am so glad that we went into winter and that I didn't have time to do what I was thinking at the time, because that is not the ideal place to have it, and it is not the ideal use, I don't think, for us. What I originally had in mind was not the ideal way to do it. So now I think I have a better way in mind. I want to start working on that on paper and deciding what kind of fencing I want, deciding what kind of garden beds I want. I was thinking I would move the old beds over here. We might do that. I think we had 10 raised beds over there, And what I'm thinking now is to put one on top of the other to have deeper and taller beds, so that would only give us 5. So we have to come up with how to do some more raised beds. You guys get the idea. There's a lot that I have to think about and implement starting this month. And of course, now we're hearing from the weatherman that this month is going to be a very active month, meaning a lot of different rain, snow, all the things that we may or may not get. And it's hard to plan because of our specific location. It doesn't always prove true for us up on this hill. But I do want to start this month because I know that I won't have a spring garden. I've already resigned myself to that. But if I don't get to working right now, I won't have a summer garden. And so I don't want that to be the case. So all that to say that the pantry challenge for February is off, but I would love to know if you guys are still planning on it, if you're doing it, what are you doing, what are you cooking, what things are you finding, what interesting uses are you putting to products that you are finding in the back of your pantry or that was lost in the back of your freezer. I would love for you guys to continue sharing. And if you're not, because you need to work on something else too, totally understand. That's what I am doing right now. So let's watch and see what I was able to do for the last week of the pantry challenge. Hello friends, it is Tuesday. I just turned off my ice maker. I realized that it makes a loud hum. It comes across in the videos sometimes, and I don't like that. Okay, so today is Tuesday, and I made 2 batches of rice here. I am going to turn this burner on, and I am making the last of my cilantro rice. This is my last meal prep that I have available, and I have never made it on the stove. But I am today because I am super cold. I've been cold all day. I didn't mess with the fire. Usually the mister makes sure that it's going before he leaves in the morning, which is like around 5 o'clock. And sometime in the afternoon, around noon-ish, 1 o'clock, I will just stoke it a little bit. I don't usually add any more to it. It usually stays, at least there's something going on in the wood stove. When he gets home, there are enough embers that he can just get a fire started easily. I didn't do that. I didn't move. I looked at the temperature, but I didn't really pay attention to the weather. So I saw that it was in the mid-40s, and I thought, oh, it'll be okay. But it was cloudy all day. It was yucky. And I was just cold. So I just started layering and dressing warmer and putting on heavy socks. And wow, there's a lot of liquid in there. I've never noticed. Usually I put it in the Instant Pot, pretty much frozen, and cook it for like 15 minutes and it's done. But today we are doing it on the stove, and we'll see what I have to do to it. I won't cover it yet. I'll get it started boiling and then turn it down to a simmer, and then I might cover it at that time. Okay, dinner is done. I did not keep track of how long this cooked, but it was way longer than in the Instant Pot, especially since I wanted there to be very little broth. It's not bad. I found a half a lime and I added that, so it's pretty lemony, or limey, which is how I like it. So let's get to serving. Hello friends, it is Thursday, and today we are having potatoes O'Brien. Potatoes O'Brien are easy to make. It's just potatoes, onions, green bell peppers, and some kind of colored red bell pepper, red, yellow, orange. It is something that I always liked having in my freezer. I still like having it in my freezer, I just don't have any. It is something that you can find in the freezer section of your store, but it's so easy to make and inexpensive. So I always made it with all raw ingredients. Put some seasoning in it sometimes, sometimes not. Pop it into freezer bags and leave it in the freezer for whenever I am ready, whenever I needed it. Whenever I wanted a quick meal. It's great for breakfast. It goes great with sausage or bacon. And eggs. Today we're having it for dinner, and the potatoes are cooked. I made baked potatoes the usual way in the Instant Pot earlier today. So this is going to come together faster because the potatoes are cooked. You know what? I'm going to wait. Let these veggies cook a little bit more before I add the potatoes, because really the potatoes are I'm just warming them up, and they're not that cold. I made them earlier and popped them in the fridge, but they're still kind of warm. And to go with these potatoes, we're going to have pork chops. These are pork chops that I canned last July. And this is my first time canning pork chops, and therefore my first time using them this way. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get them out of the jar whole. I have an idea what I want to do with that. I just don't know if it'll work. Okay, let's get some seasoning for the potatoes and peppers, salt, pepper, paprika, and a little oregano. So what I want to do is just warm up the pork chops a little bit, kind of sear them a little. I don't know how well they will sear because, yeah, they're pretty moist in there in the jars. And then make a gravy. That's what I'm hoping that I can accomplish. We'll see. Probably will add a little bit more salt. and pepper and paprika too. Okay, I switched my pots around, put a cover on there. Let's see what we can do with these pork chops. Smells good. One second. Well, I probably will not get them to come out as chops. Let's see. Get this other one open. Okay, I'm making a quick gravy. I just added a little bit more oil to the pan, put some onions and sauteed it, put some flour, cooked that for about a minute or two, and then added the broth that was in the jars with the pork chops. And I think I'm just going to add the pork chops back to this pan. They're not really chops, but it's okay. I tasted it and it tastes good. Most of them just fell apart. Okay, I will let this warm through and then I will serve. This did not turn out the way I expected it to, but I will tell you, it is yummy. Hey friends, it is Friday and there is no cooking going on here today, but I am making some dessert with leftover rice. I am making rice pudding. It's a quick and easy rice pudding. So in this pot, let's turn this on. In this pot I have 1.5 cups of milk. And I'm going to add 1.5 cups of rice. That's 1 cup. And I'm also going to add a 1/3 cup of sugar and a pinch of salt. And we're just going to stir this for 15 to 20 minutes till the rice soaks up all the milk and it starts to thicken. Okay, there's a few more minutes left, but I'm going to crack an egg into a 1/2 cup of milk. That way I don't have to worry about tempering the egg and being so careful putting it into hot milk. So there's about 8 minutes left. I'm going to wait another 4 minutes or so before I add the egg and milk. Okay, 4 minutes left. We're going to add the egg and milk mixture. And we'll let it come back to a simmer for another 4 minutes. Okay, 51 seconds left. I'm adding about a tablespoon of butter. And a little vanilla. And some cinnamon. The only thing I would love to add, that's the timer, that I won't, is raisins, and that's because the mister does not like raisins. What I might do is take half of it out and put raisins in the other half. And that's what I did. I am not sure what that weird setting was, but it was a setting that made my video come out that way. I apologize for that, you guys. But here is the rice pudding. It tastes really, really good. This is the mister's. This is mine with raisins. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye. Hey you guys, it is 7:44 and it is Monday. I have my voice back. Yay! I am wanting to pull something really quick together. I'm making a double batch of rice. I defrosted this kielbasa last night and I am going to prepare it just with some sweet peppers, onions, and that's it really, just and serve that over a bed of rice. We are late because, well, it is late because we went to return the truck that we borrowed, and we also went to pick up 2 chickens. I got 2 olive eggers. I'm excited about that. They started laying 2 weeks ago, so they're probably maybe 20 weeks old, something like that. So tomorrow we should have some olive eggs. I am excited to see that. All right, so let's get to making this dinner. All I'm going to do next is add some salt and pepper and some minced garlic. Forgot the onions. Hey, you. Done and done. Dinner is served, and we have the Mister's lunch for tomorrow. See you guys tomorrow. It is January 31st and it's the last day of the Pantry Challenge for January. I am making today some baked macaroni and cheese, pork chops, and Brussels sprouts. The water is boiling, the macaroni is waiting, so I'm going to cut up the Brussels sprouts and I'm going to make them on the stove today. I decided to go ahead and make the Brussels sprouts in the oven because the oven is on anyway for the macaroni and cheese. So let's just do the Brussels sprouts in here as well. They are a little bit more crowded than I like them. They don't brown as well. but I'm leaving it. Oh, not quite boiling. Almost. Okay, so let's put some salt, garlic powder, paprika, a little bit of seasoning salt. Toss. Now the water's boiling. Also, I usually cook this at a much higher temperature than I am baking the macaroni and cheese. Oh, what should I do? I will go ahead and raise the temperature here because just for a little bit, because the macaroni is not ready. For the pork chops, I'm going to season some breadcrumbs, bread them, and we're going to fry them. Black pepper, salt, parsley, if I had thought it through, this wasn't a real plan, I'm going to use my herb salt that we made this past summer, but that's okay. Garlic, onion, I think I need some more of the breadcrumbs. We have to fix this stove. It's flat. It's not flat, or it's not even. What am I trying to say? Level. It's not level, and so the oil in the pans just go down towards the back. Too big for the space that's available. Let's do this one. Okay, I'm going to turn off the macaroni. It's not totally done. It's going to finish cooking in the oven. Just want to get it mostly done, still firm. Okay. That off. We'll drain the macaroni and be right back. Okay, I am melting half a stick of butter In here, I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of flour. You should have a whisk. And then I'm going to add 2.5 cups of milk. 2.5 or 2? I think 2.5. And then we will add some shredded cheese, which I should have shredded first, but didn't. Let me go do that. So I have cheese in here, 2 cups, and I found a little bit of Parmesan in the back of the freezer. So let's just throw that in there. Why not? So I'm just going to stir this until it thickens, and then I'll pour it over the macaroni. A little bit of salt and pepper, and why not put some paprika as well? Done. So in this dish here, I greased this 8x8 dish and put the, whoa, what was that? That was weird. Okay, I greased this 4x4, 8x8 square pan, put the macaroni in it, and I'm just going to pour this over it and stir it in. I should probably use a different pan for this, but I really don't want to. So I'm just going to melt 2 tablespoons of butter. I'm going to add some breadcrumbs. And add some breadcrumbs and just toss it to make sure all the breadcrumbs are covered, and then we will put the breadcrumbs on top of the macaroni. This is why you don't put stuff in, you don't just sprinkle from the jar. All the paprika ended up in one section. Anyways, here are the breadcrumbs on the macaroni, some paprika, a lot of paprika, and I'm gonna pop it in the oven. Not only does the Brussels sprouts look great, it tastes amazing. All right, so here is dinner. Here are the pork chops, there are the Brussels sprouts, and here is the macaroni and cheese, all bubbly. Normally it's $3.50 for 30 minutes, but because the Brussels sprouts were in there at 400, I think that's why it took less time for this to get bubbly, because it started out at 400. When I turned the oven to 350, it was obviously higher than that. Okay, so let's serve. So this is my plate. I'm just serving myself. The mister is next door with the neighbors, so he can serve himself when he gets back. I will probably put his lunch away for him, and that's about it. So to be clear, I am still going to be posting lots of interesting things for you. I have lots of things in mind to post. I just don't want to be tied down to doing a meal every day, because I think that would be too much. So I am going to continue giving you guys content. Something that's coming up is something that somebody requested. So if you guys have any requests for things that you would like to see, please let me know in the comments. I'd be glad to accommodate as best as I can. Oh, let's see. So I want to take you out and show you, probably this weekend, I will do a video of just the area in general, so you can see the whole area, see what I'm working with, to see what my thoughts are, and then you can chime in on what you think I could do with the area as well. Okay, you guys, I am so appreciative for those of you that have joined me recently by subscribing, and those of you that have been here from before. Thank you for sticking with me. I really appreciate you all. I love that you take some of your time to share it here with me. And yeah, thank you very much. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.